So depending on where you go, killer whales eat a large variety of different things. And unfortunately, not all killer whales are thriving out in our oceans, especially our southern resident population right here in the Northwest United States. They're down to just about 74 members left, which is quite small compared to their history of the numbers that they used to have. So we want to do all that we can today and throughout time to help those wild counterparts to these beautiful animals. Now it does look like the trainers are here interacting with our 2 male killer whales. I do have a splash warning for everybody on this long wall. Kyuquot is going to slide out onto this platform, so there is a chance some water is going to come your way. It is salt water and it is about 52 degrees. It should feel pretty nice on a hot day like today.
She's huge!
Everyone, this is Kyuquot. He is the largest member of our pod here in San Antonio, weighing in at about 9,570 pounds. And he's just over 20 feet long. Now you'll notice his trainer Cassidy has put on an orange glove. It is actually a loofah glove, just like you might buy at the store and use in the shower to help exfoliate your skin. And we're using it for the exact same purpose for Kyuquot. Now Cassie's reaching to the places that he might not be able to get himself, either by rubbing and through the sprayer or with another whale, or even by breaching out of the water. And she's helping get some of that loose dead skin off so that he can be as comfortable as possible. Now one of the most common questions that we get here at SeaWorld is about our 2 male killer whales. And that is, why do their dorsal fins curl over to the side? Now the answer is very simple. It's simply that in an adult male killer whale, that dorsal fin can get over 6 feet tall. So Kyuquot is measuring in at 5 feet 6 inches, which is taller than me, but he has no bones inside, not even any muscles in there. Inside is a dense fibrous connective tissue that's kind of like cartilage. So the longer that a whale spends at the surface of the water, either interacting with all of you today here at Inside Look, or in a Dine with Orcas, or perhaps even in a killer whale up-close tour, the more likely that dorsal fin is going to curl one way or the other. Now it doesn't affect his health or any of his emotional state. Once it curled, it is going to stay that way. And it doesn't affect his swimming at all. Those dorsal fins are used mostly for thermoregulation, so it doesn't actually impact him, as it can still serve its purpose. It does happen out in the ocean as well. It's just not quite as common because wild killer whales don't have a reason to sit at the surface. However, if you do look at populations which hunt at the surface of the water, either sea lions or seals right off the beach, those populations have a higher percentage of curled dorsal fins because those whales spend more time at the surface of the water. Now you might have heard some of the sounds that Kyuquot was making just now. Although his mouth was open, all of those sounds actually come from the blowhole on the very top and back of his head. That is a direct pathway to his lungs, so it's just kind of like your nose. And they have a muscular flap, which helps keep all the salt water out when they do deep dive into the water. And they can make all of those different sounds by manipulating that muscular flap, just like when you pinch the end of a balloon and make those high-pitched squeaky sounds. So killer whales can make a different series of whistles and clicks, and they can actually use that to hunt. It's called echolocation, and it's kind of like sonar. They'll make those sounds, different series, whistles, clicks, and they'll listen for the bounce back of each sound through their lower jawbone. And they can actually get a clear picture of what's in front of them, even if the water is too dark or murky for them to see clearly. Now here in the shallow area we do have Tuar. He's 24 years old, half-brother to Kyuquot. And it looks like he is also going to get his dorsal fin loofah as well. Now if you do focus your attention to the center of the pool, it looks like Kyuquot is working on a training session or a learning session. This is another important way to take care of such an amazing animal, as we want to focus on their mental stimulation. Just like you and me, they are incredibly smart, and we want to make sure that throughout the day, they have things that they can focus on and work towards. So, looks like she is interacting with Kyuquot on spy hops. Now, spy hopping is a natural behavior which killer whales do both here and out in the ocean to get a better view of their surroundings of anything that's above the surface of the water. Killer whales out in the ocean will use this behavior to look on top of ice floes to see if there are any seals hanging out on top of that ice floe. And if there are, they can actually create waves to wash over that floating ice and knock unsuspecting seals right into the water. Now here, we are asking Kyuquot to add to that spy hop behavior. And you'll notice that Cassidy is working with him with those same things we talked about before with her bridge and also that reinforcement. She's simply asking him to do a normal spy hop and then to add something, perhaps a bird chirp sound to it or a squirt water out of his mouth or any of those different things to build upon what he already knows. Anytime that we're teaching the killer whales something new, that's going to be a learning session, and it's so important for their overall care and well-being to make sure that they're lifelong learners, just like you and me. We want to make sure that they have opportunities to continue to learn and grow throughout their entire life. Now, Tuar is in an excellent position here, so you can see the entire underside of his body. You'll notice that most of his belly is white, whereas most of his back is black, and that does have a purpose. That is counter shading, which we can talk about in a moment. Right now, it looks like both Malin and Kylan are massaging Tuar's tail. Now this can be a good opportunity to just help with that tactile, or it can be another opportunity to desensitize him to being touched on his tail, as our veterinarians will actually come every single month and draw blood from the very veins that run through the underside of his tail. So having a second trainer come in, put in that safety guard, and simply touch different parts of his tail can help him to desensitize him to that procedure so that he can continue to remain calm throughout all the different healthcare and husbandry procedures. Now, as I was saying, every single killer whale is black on top and white on the bottom. And they're not the only animals in the ocean who look like that. You can see penguins, dolphins, sharks, and a number of different animals use that counter shading to blend in. Now, killer whales don't use it to hide from any predators. Killer whales are the apex predator in the ocean, which means nothing hunts a killer whale. They're at the very top of that food chain. However, they do have need to hide from their prey. So, for example, if Tuar was out swimming and he was trying to hide from maybe a salmon who was looking around for any suspicious killer whale-shaped objects, that animal was swimming above him, looking below. His black back would blend in with the bottom of the ocean and the dark abyss. However, if there was a sea lion swimming underneath him, looking up at the sky, his white belly would blend in with that bright white sunlight, helping to camouflage him and allow him to hunt. You'll also notice that every single killer whale has an eye patch on either side of their head. Now, this is not actually their eye, it's those white patches, but they were hoping that you would think that's their eye. It's another form of camouflage, as if you look real close, you might be able to see where their true eye is. So right above the corner of their mouth, right in front of that white patch, in the black space, camouflage from any thrashing prey that might want to cause harm to the killer whale.
I want more. Stand up. More fish. You are here.